From Florida's Gulf Coast, where sun-kissed waves inspire us, welcome to this edition of Talent Talk and Strategy Stroll, where we navigate the intersection of talent optimization and business strategy with wit, wisdom, and a dash of sibling rivalry. I'm your co-host, Meri Stockwell, joined by my brother, Tim Stockwell, who is a seasoned business strategist and coach. Good morning, Tim. How are you today?
I'm doing good, Meri. Good morning to you. It's another beautiful day on the beach.
It's a beautiful day today here too in Tampa Bay, where we've had 2 days of cooler temperatures.
Ah, yeah. Good for you guys.
Absolutely. Yes.
See, our cool here is like 82 degrees.
Right. Well, we were in the 60s this morning.
Wow.
Moving up to the 70s and 80s likely. So,
yeah.
But it's been very refreshing. Yesterday, I almost put a sweatshirt on.
It's probably hard for people to believe that people in Florida actually own sweatshirts, but
oh yeah,
they can get chilly.
Sweatshirts on yesterday.
Yeah,
for sure.
Great.
What
are we covering? What are we covering today, Meri? What's the?
Well, before we get into today, which is designing dream teams, let's take a step back from to our last episode, which was focused on employee engagement, right? So we've had some feedback. The feedback was super positive. People found that there was a great deal of informative information for them. They enjoyed it. What they didn't enjoy so much was the length of it. Right. So that it was a little bit long. It was a little bit long for us too. So our goal is to make it a little bit shorter, keep it as informative and fun as we possibly can. So we did have 3 points of feedback that we wanted to share. So first, people found that engagement surveys were really a powerful tool. We had conversations with people as to how they could use that in their organization to really dive into their data, see how they can improve. They also felt that by taking action on engagement, it significantly drove results.
No doubt.
And we also heard some feedback on people liked how we measured that data. They liked understanding the year-over-year positive outcomes and how things went on an upward trajectory, and they enjoyed having a case study that had 3 years worth of data. So that was really powerful. So those are really the 3 things that from last episode. Now let's go ahead and turn to this episode. Dive right in, Tim, with a Roots Run Deep story.
Well, this is a more recent Roots Run Deep, isn't it, Meri? When we started Meritas 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago.
We just celebrated our 4th anniversary.
4th anniversary, yeah. So we decided that we wanted it to be a family-involved business. We work with a lot of family-owned businesses, so we did the behavioral assessments on all of our family members. I don't remember now how many it was. Was it 20-some people, Meri, that we did the assessments on?
I think we ended up doing right around 35.
Oh, 35.
Yeah, we did a lot.
We did a lot. So we analyzed that just from a family perspective in terms of, what were people's strengths? Where could they fit into Meritas and the work we wanted to do with clients? And we helped them identify their abilities to become certified predictive index experts. And so we did that, and a lot of our family are now certified using the PI tools and part of the team that we draw in as we need them. So we've went directly to our roots to build a team, didn't we?
Yes, and I think another thing that was interesting about when we did that, our family members wanted to do some relationship guides and see how they interacted with their spouse, right?
Okay.
So I think it was actually a fun scenario too, but it also helped them understand who they are as people and where they really do understand the work that really would excite them.
Mhm.
Right.
Absolutely.
So I think it provided multiple levels of engagement with the family who, they're still engaged, they're still interested in everything that we do.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a fun project. And it
Yeah.
is fun. I mean, so that was our basis for designing dream teams. We just wanted to understand what our team would look like, right? Then we could be able to help them identify whether they would bring strengths to certain elements of our client base. So it was a fascinating thing, and it was kind of a takeoff from where we are going to discuss today, isn't it?
It is, it's a springboard for that for sure. So today we're going to be focusing on building dream teams. We will also, for the first time, kind of be sharing visuals for portions of the podcast. So we will do our best to describe in detail for those that are listening on their favorite podcast platform. So we will really try hard to make you feel that you're seeing it visually as we're showing it. So we'll start with that, right? So you want to move forward, Tim? You ready to get going?
Yeah, let's go. Let's get into it, because this is really one of the exciting parts about using the tools.
Okay.
So if we think about, obviously, anybody's business, the people are the heart of the business. When you hire the right people and inspire them, you're able to create a dream team with the right tools and be able to build engagement and then hold that engagement over a long period of time. Part of that process is understanding leadership and the methodology to do it. But our goal is to help you identify who to hire, who to move within your organization, how to inspire those people, and then how to recognize who to use, especially when you're going to do special projects.
Excellent. So we do this utilizing we kickstart this by using the predictive index behavioral assessment. It measures 4 behavioral drives and provide a simple framework for understanding your employees and candidates' workplace behavioral style. The 4 drives collectively generate a profile that shows the extremes of each value. So what does that measure, Tim? What does the PI behavioral assessment measure?
Well, those 4 components are dominance, extroversion, patience, and formality. And when it comes down to it, there are scientifically based 17 different profiles that we can identify through this assessment process. And one of the more useful tools of just understanding those 17 profiles is, if you look at it in terms of how we look at a lot of things in a big circle, right? Big pies. And there is someone who is directly opposite of you in the pie structure of those 17 different things. So your ability to be able to understand, work with, contemplate new ideas, drive results is challenging. And as you get further and further away from your own behavioral style, that's why it's important to understand how people work together best. Don't you think, Mary?
Yeah, we're going to get into that too. So let's talk about design using the predictive index design tool.
Mm-hmm.
That'll really allow us to get into building our dream teams, right? So PI design increases the confidence of leaders and managers in their ability to execute their business strategies, deliver results, and reduce organizational friction. So Tim, how do we use PI design?
It's kind of a combination of understanding their natural tendencies and then recognizing the gaps within the team compared to the objectives. And we're going to kind of go through that. So it also helps us recognize or better understand, I guess the word we use is that demystifying of the process and the team dynamics and what blocks progress. Our primary goal, Meri, I think you'll agree, is to help accelerate, always help accelerate what we understand is the business objectives, how we help that all come about, to the results that the owner, CEO, manager is looking for in their team. So once we demystify that and recognize where the blocks are to accelerating that accomplishment, the better off we're going to be. So we de-risk through this process the strategic hires that you have to make. Who are the best candidates for you to hire, and in what order can we help you understand that process? And then, of course, as a bigger thing, when you're doing mergers and acquisitions or complete reorgs, the value of having the individual profiles and laid out onto a strategic map is incredibly beneficial.
Right. So not just for the strategic new hires, but also for how they fit in their role, but also how they fit on their team.
Absolutely.
And that's really what we're going to pinpoint now, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So I think the other is the kind of the three phases there that we talk about with our clients and prospective clients is this allows you to help who's on the team, to understand who's on the team. What do we have to work with on the existing team? Then as you expand the behavioral assessments to other parts of your organization, you get to learn at a much deeper level, who do we have in the building? Who do we have in the organization that might be a great fit for some of these roles that we never would have guessed? And then lastly, of course, is that third segment, which is who's out on the street? Who are you getting resume for which jobs, and how can we help you delineate which are the ones that you could be able to be looking for to fill some certain gaps?
Yeah.
So don't you think, Mary? I mean, that tool is always very helpful for our clients to understand that.
Oh, it's not just helpful, but it's critical to really understand that. And our clients that really are engaged with design, so to speak, they get it right, and they get it right regularly.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we're fine tuning things, and we're also able to create succession plans for that. So this is really the tool that helps us do that. So
Absolutely.
Tim, move on and see how
Sure.
team discovery is powered by design. So in
Okay.
this one, we are going to have to be really graphic because we want
Yes.
people to understand this. So
Yeah.
do you want to kind of describe what people are looking at here? And
Sure. It's similar to what I just described. We typically look at it in a circle. And in this case, instead of dividing it to 17 ways based on the profiles of the individuals, we've narrowed that down to 4 pieces of pie. And we call those quadrants. So if you just look at a piece of pie or a pie and cut it in 4 equal sections, you have 4 quadrants. And those quadrants delineate a certain natural tendency for a behavioral nature that it attracts, or you have certain strengths that we can use to build this dream team. So if you think in terms of the quadrants, we have teamwork, right? The quadrant of teamwork and employee engagement. Mayor, what's the description we use for that segment, for that quadrant?
so first of all, I say that the quadrant is located in it. If you're thinking about this or you're writing it down on a paper, or you're looking at us, it's in the upper left hand corner of this circle. And team members that are in teamwork and employee experience, they tend to focus on collaboration and relationship building. They're socially and interpersonally sensitive. They prefer to support others to grow and develop. They communicate by talking things through and brainstorming out loud. They make decisions collaboratively, seeking input from each individual involved team member. And they resolve conflict by focusing on the people involved. Now, Tim, you're in the teamwork and employee experience quadrant.
Yes.
Did that really describe who you are and how you tend to be?
Absolutely. I like to talk things out. I want to involve people. I get a lot of energy from having people around and being able to have lively discussion and then help bring out what some of those people might be thinking or their ways of wanting to do things. And so from a team perspective, that's a very valuable component to have on the team, is someone who helps other people become their best. So then, Mary, in the lower left, we have process, don't we? What's that quadrant look like in the lower left quadrant?
So in process precision, those team members tend to focus on process and predictability. They're well organized and efficient. They prefer analytical decision making. They communicate concisely after a thorough reflection on their own. They make decisions collaboratively, seeking input from each involved team member, and they resolve conflict by focusing on the task involved.
Yes, and these people, as you said, Mary, are very process oriented, right? They want to know, what are the steps? Give me A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to execute that with precision.
That's
Again,
right.
when you're thinking about building a dream team, how many people you need down there that can help understand the process methodology. And so again, very valuable member of the team. So then in the lower right quadrant, we have results and discipline. Those people that have natural tendencies to drive results. So how do we describe that normally for our prospects and our clients, Mary?
Well, team members in the results and discipline quadrant focus on results and goal achievement. They're driven and they're competitive. They prefer to focus on tasks and execution. They communicate concisely after a thorough reflection on their own. They make decisions independently without waiting for a consensus, and they resolve conflict by focusing on the task involved.
Excellent. And that's, again, one of those key drivers on any team is, how are we going to get this done? And do I have to hold accountable to get things done? These are the kind of the taskmasters that drive the performance. And again, very critical for any team to have. Then in the upper right quadrant, Mary, we have the innovation and agility. As I call it, these are the big thinkers. These are the ones that have so many ideas, they haven't even thought of them all yet. But we do have a more formal definition, don't we?
Yeah, you'd hope that they haven't thought of them all yet.
That's right.
So the people that fall into this quadrant, they focus on pursuing new innovations. They're open to risk and experimentation. They prefer to act quickly and assertively. They communicate by talking things through and brainstorming out loud. They make decisions independently without waiting for a consensus, and they resolve conflict by focusing on the people involved. So those are the 4 quadrants, Tim. Now, what are we looking at here on the screen, and how can you describe this?
Sure. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 members of this team. And if you're visualizing that circle again in the quadrants, we have most of the team centered around the quadrants of innovation and agility and teamwork and employee experience.
Hey,
So
Tim, can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
So how did these dots get there?
This is what's one of the results of the behavioral assessments that we do.
Okay, I get it.
Always focusing on the natural tendencies of people, not just their individual behavior, but then also the talents that they bring to the organization as we defined them in those 4 quadrants.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
So we have 7 of the 8 team members really north of that middle cut line. So they're in an employee experience and teamwork and innovation and agility. We have one, there's one on the line, but we have one really predominantly down in precision, process and precision. So this is not an unusual perspective that we see when we go in and have these, what we call a one-on-one talent strategy session with business leaders or managers. And in fact, we invite anybody who's interested in doing this. We can do this rather quickly for your leadership team and to be able to help you define what are you dealing with. The reason I say that we see this often is because one of the natural tendencies in hiring is to hire in your own image. I like this person. We think alike. We have commonality. And so you tend to kind of gravitate to those kinds of people in the interview process. So one of the things this helps us do, and the leadership to be able to understand, is where are your gaps from your business strategy. So the next step we would take in this is to overlay, and we have, I think, roughly 20 or 25 different ways of attracting or understanding what the objectives are. And so we have them pick 5, 6 different objectives that they're working on for the year or for the project. And so, again, we see this frequently when we're now look at how does the team align to the strategy. And in our example, again, not unusual, we see this frequently, is that this leadership team was focusing on 6 different strategies. 3 in the process and precision, and 3 in the results and discipline. So if we go back and look at where our team members are, 7 of our 8 team members are in teamwork and employee experience and innovation and agility. And we have 1 person in the process and precision. So to accomplish 6 objectives, you're going to rely on basically 1 individual in one of the quadrants for 3 objectives, and you have no one in a quadrant that has the natural skills to be able to deliver the results in discipline methodologies. There's also a way that you align so that you get cross-functional for a while, right? If you're putting together a team there, how do you describe that, the way that you can move from quadrant to quadrant?
I describe that really, Tim, as flexing, as in like flexing a muscle. So let's say whoever KS is there, that individual could flex up to teamwork and employee experience for a short amount of time, as well as over to results and discipline for a short amount of time. Not their natural tendency, so it's not going to be something that long-term. And same with MS. So MS, very comfortable in innovation and agility, but could flex to results and discipline and teamwork and employee experience comfortably, but for a short period of time. Now we see JF up there. So JF or JM or TS or SS, they could not flex into results and discipline at all.
Yeah.
It's an area that's just, it would drive them bonkers. They would not be successful in that role, and you would risk losing them. So they could, though, flex into, for short periods of time, process and precision or teamwork or innovation and agility. So kind of when I'm looking at this picture, I'm like, okay, I need to look who's in the building and who's on the street, because I'm not going to be successful reaching my goals with the people that are in place today.
Absolutely. So how does that show up, Meri? You know, I know that in our conversations with our clients, it shows up in the frustration that they're just not getting things done. And there just seems to be a lot of paper shuffling, or, gee, I gave that to somebody, but they didn't really have a chance to get it done. How does it show up to you? What kind of comments do you get?
Well, I think it can show up in burnout, right? I think it can show up in lack of engagement. I think it can show up in infighting in a team, unnecessary conflict, because there's no baton that's handed off, really. It's kind of just spinning around in a circle. So I think it shows up in frustration.
Absolutely. And again, goals not being met. And our role is to help accelerate, right? Help accelerate the business objectives to the results that you're looking for. And so I think that's why that's critical, to be able to have this more analytical, and I will add unbiased methodology to go about understanding your team and helping to, if you will, manage them up. But if you have real serious gaps, which we see almost all of our clients and prospects, they have real serious gaps, is How do you go about fixing that?
That's right. And Tim, typically with our clients, how long does it take to A, look at a team, and B, start to really make some changes within that team?
Sure. Well, this kind of approach where we can do the assessments, we can put that into our circle, into our quadrants, and we can add the objectives that the leadership wants to try to accomplish in really a matter of days. It takes just 5 minutes or less for individuals to take the assessments. We have those results immediately, and we can begin to plot where they are from their natural tendencies into those 4 quadrants. From that point, adding the objectives will take the leadership or the leadership team. We take input from one or multiple people in those objective settings. That again will take literally a matter of minutes for the leadership to understand that, and we can put it back up. So if we were to start on a Monday, we would be able to have these conversations, provided the assessments were in. We could have these conversations by Thursday. And what I find fascinating, whenever we show this graphic of somebody's real team and their objectives, they sit back with the aha moment of, no wonder I'm having problems.
Right. And Tim, there's actually been times where we've done this live, right? Where we haven't even peeked at it in advance and we're showing it at the very same time. And what we see is a lot of aha moments.
Oh, yeah. And surprise.
Okay, so I get it.
Yep.
How are we gonna fix it?
Yeah. So from this too, there's a couple of other things we do. We can come up with what's the team type and what's the objectives, right? So we could look at that and analyze, are you a cultivating team? Are you trying to build, your relationships in your organization, that sort of stuff? And then are you an executing team? I mean, I forget now how many different methodologies we take through this, but there's a lot of ways that we can do it. So we can also then break down what are the team strengths and where do you have potential conflict? Where do you have potential caution areas? If you're trying to truly achieve the objectives that you have, and in what kind of time frame.
And then we can create action plans to move forward.
Absolutely. Very quickly, within, again, all things being equal, everybody takes the assessment on Mondays. We are ready with a formal plan with you to work on within that week. It's that fast to be able to understand it going on.
That's right. All righty. Well,
so before we jump into this, just real quickly, this is a project that if you are interested in, reach out to us. We can do this very quickly, and we can do this one-on-one talent strategy with you quickly, and it's normally about $2,500. We would do this for the people who are listening to our podcast. We would do it for free. This would be a complimentary consultation to give you the perspective on your team.
Love that. If it's for me, it's for me. I think that when you say free, we're going to say no cost.
No cost, that's right.
The value driven from this is significant.
Even if you don't go any further, even if you don't go any further, Mary, with the process. What's my team look like? Why am I struggling with getting stuff done? It's very eye-opening.
We love this. We love designing teams. I've been on dream teams. I've designed dream teams. We know it works, and we're passionate about designing dream teams. That's one of my very favorite things to do.
Yeah, it is exciting to see it work. And because you work through a multicultural, multinationality capability, it boils it all down on an unbiased basis. Where do we have the strengths and where do we need to bolster?
That's right. So in keeping with our request of our listeners, Tim, we're keeping this short. So maybe some people will think they'd want more information. That's great because we want to give it to them. So I'm going to kind of wrap the design part up by just saying we help customers around the world design and build dream teams. It is our passion, and we can help you too. Connect with us on LinkedIn and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You can reach us both on LinkedIn. You can reach me at 727-260-2085, or you can reach Tim at 816-522-4777. So we want to move on a bit. Today's episode is sponsored by Meritas Leadership Academy, where we offer leadership development programs, including Leadership at Scale, New Manager Accelerator, Executive Coaching, Team Building and Collaboration Workshops, Innovation and Change Management Workshops, Global Leadership and Cultural Intelligence Programs, and networking and mentoring opportunities. Thank you for joining us for today's episode, Designing a Dream Team. You can download Talent Talk and Strategy Stroll on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. And if you like us, please follow and engage with us and share with your friends. We'd love to hear from you, and we've enjoyed all of the feedback that we've received so far. Tim, you did a great job today, sharing with us, designing a dream team. So until next time, see you on the beach.
Have a great stroll, Meri.
Yep, see you on the beach.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.